Hey, my CFAs. I'm just doing a little mini episode today because I just wanted to say, first of all, Happy New Year. And I miss you all and I love you all. And I hope you are having a great start to this new year. So I thought I'd just pop in and speak off the cuff. I have had decaf coffee, decaf latte, which I know most people that doesn't do it for them. But for me, the myth is that decaf has no caffeine, but it does. And just a little bit of caffeine kicks up my system. So I am in a mood today. I am feisty today. And I thought I would come on and just drop a little episode. And I just wanted to update you on a couple of things. The first one is I am loving doing these CFA strategy sessions. And it's been really rewarding for me to meet all of you and to read through all of your life experiences and to help you put them together into a cohesive form so that you go into those interviews, so that you send out that resume and cover letter to the best of your ability. And so you can attract the right jobs and the right people and the whole thing. So I didn't realize until recently how much I enjoy doing them and meeting all of you, because I get to meet the best people and my listeners are the best people. You guys know that. So I just want to say that take a look at the CFA Strategy Session. It is in the show notes. I put the link in the show notes and read that if you are an aspiring or newer CFA, or maybe you're a commercial CFA who listens to this and you'd like to break into the private sector. If so, then I have this strategy session to help with interviews. I look over your resume, your cover letter. We put it together. I make sure that I'm the last eyes on it, even after you've changed everything. I make sure that, hey, even after that session, I ask you to come back with the resume and so I can take a look again and the cover letter again. So it's very much worth the money. I give you a lot of value, and I've had a few FAs say to me, you really undercharge for this service. And I just wanted to make it accessible for everyone. So what I am going to tell you is right now it is $125 US dollars for a session with me. That's a 60-minute session. Honestly, they usually go an hour and 15 minutes. But I am going to increase the price, most likely mid-February, and that price is more going to be like $200 for that session. So just know that, because I do believe in paying people what they're worth. So I should pay myself what I'm worth. So yeah, I just want to give that little announcement. I also wanted to say that if any of you watch the show Lioness, it's on, I believe we watch it on Paramount Plus. In the second season, there is an episode about, I think it's either episode 6 or 7. I'm sorry, I should have written it down, but I forgot. But I know it's either episode 6 or 7. I'm going to say, I think it's episode 7. Could be wrong. But they have a really good scene on a private jet that was so fascinating to me. The passenger needed medical attention and the pilot has to do it. And I think it's a very realistic scene, especially if you never know, you may get a job on a private jet where you are tending to military. That could be happening, because I actually met a private jet attendant who would fly with military families. So you never know if that's going to come up in your career, but it's a fascinating look at what would happen if, I don't want to ruin Lioness for people who are watching it or just starting to watch it, no spoilers, but if you have a medical emergency like that on the plane and you're the one that has to give this medical attention and you're not the medical expert, it's one thing where you have to get a Band-Aid out of a kit. It's a whole nother thing where you have to do major medical care. So I don't want to give away too much, but anyway, even if you don't watch that, if you have Paramount Plus, look for that episode, fast forward. And yeah, it's really fascinating, especially for new and aspiring FAs. Well, even I would say even if you're an experienced FA, I think you would find it fascinating, because I did. I was like, whoa. And I looked to my husband who I was watching it with, and you guys know he's a pilot. And I said, is this how it would happen? And he said, yeah. He's like, most likely that's pretty accurate. So just, yeah, look to that. And then the meat. The main content of this episode, wow, my hair looks kind of crazy. That's okay. I'm just using this for reels. But the main content of this episode today is I just want to talk to you quickly about you guys. There's been a lot happening in the media lately, and there's a lot happening all the time. And you know that I love my pop culture, right? So I listen to all the pop culture stuff because I find it really fun and fascinating. And I personally think that pop culture reflects on what is going on in politics and society and culture as a whole and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, a lot has been going on. Obviously, you guys know the P. Diddy stuff. I did an episode on it several episodes back. So that's one thing. The other thing is the pop culture event right now going on with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. And it's a really fascinating one. I've been listening to it a lot because I can't give away too much, but I might have flown for a company that's associated with that whole event. Let's put it that way. So I'm very fascinated by that. And the reason I bring this up is because you never know who is going to get on your plane, number one, as we've discussed many times, but you also never know what offers you're going to get in this industry. And you may get offered an account from someone who's like a P. Diddy, right? Where they're an owner and they're looking for a full-time FA for their plane. You may get offered someone like Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively and their private jet. Now, I don't know if Justin Baldoni, am I saying his name right? Well, whatever. I don't know if he has, hold on, let me check this out. I think his name's Justin Baldoni. I've only listened to like thousands of hours on this, and sometimes I blank on people's names, and it's the weirdest thing ever, and I don't know why. Hold on. Yes. Okay. So yeah, I don't think he has the money right now for owning a private jet. So who knows what's going to happen with him and his future and the whole thing. But the whole thing with the Blake Lively and the Ryan Reynolds and why I bring them up is because you really need to take into account who these people are and how they're going to treat you. Because there's a lot of stories coming out, even if you're on the side of Blake Lively and you're like, Justin Baldoni is so wrong and she was harassed and she was sexually harassed and the whole thing. My 2 cents, I think it's both of them. Justin and Blake are complete narcissists. And what happens when 2 major narcissists collide, it's like fireworks. That's what I think. Do I think he has a past and he could be more wrong and he has some issues. He disguises himself as a feminist and he's really not. Absolutely. Of course, I'm not going to take his side at all. It kind of reminds me of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, where my takeaway was they're both nut jobs. So I think that's kind of my takeaway right now is they're both nuts. But if you are offered an account from like a Ryan Reynolds or a Blake Lively or someone who's embroiled in these messes, you really have to take a look at who you're working for. You may say, oh my God, it's so cool. I'm working for Ryan Reynolds. I'm working for Blake Lively, the girl from Gossip Girl. But I'm going to warn you that it's cool to a certain point, because if these people treat you like a-holes, then you're just not going to like it. And you have to take a look at in research, again, going back to like, you may be on the side of Blake Lively, but you also have to see how she treated journalists in the past. If you really look that up, she wasn't very nice to him and she had a lot of snide comments. And I know people who've flown with Reynolds and Lively, and they don't really have that many great things to say about them. So I think there is that cool factor, but it's not cool to sign a contract when someone's going to treat you horribly day in and day out. And you also have to think about, like for me, for example, just my mindset. If let's say tomorrow in my fantasy world, I was offered a contract as an FA on their private jet, right? Reynolds and Lively. And something that always bothered me about them is that they have more money than God, and they decided to have their wedding on a slave plantation. And I'm not trying to be funny about that, but it makes me laugh because I'm like, really? This is where you decide to exchange sacred vows, is on a slave plantation where people have been tortured and beaten and starved and died. And that's the energy field that's going around there. And they came out in COVID and apologized for it. But I'm like, something's just off. You know what I mean? Like when people think that's okay and that's where their wedding is, okay, sorry guys, but I don't get that. So you just have to really think about all these factors, because these people may seem like they're cool and they're awesome and you get to brag to everyone, but sometimes the behind the scenes factors are not. So make sure you're always researching. And there was an account I worked, and I have mentioned this account many times, where the wife was a socialite. She had a bad reputation as a socialite. So you can take it however you want, right? Because you can take that these rich Upper East Side New Yorkers didn't like her because she was new to the crust and she's a disruptor, and that makes her kind of cool. But if you read story after story where she disrupts like these events and she's a bitch to everyone, that's totally different, right? Because now you're going to have to evaluate, how is she going to act to me? Because I'm not even in her mind on her level as a human. So I just want everyone to know that going forward, before you sign that contract, do not get swayed by the celebrity. Do not get swayed by the cool factor. Make sure that you really, in this day and age, research. So you're not getting on a plane with P. Diddy #2. You're not getting on a plane with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, who you're a person of color and they had their wedding at a plantation, and especially if you're someone who's black. Like, to me, that's kind of like something's wrong there. There's a chip missing. So yeah, I just wanted to come on today and tell you that, because I think I need to be that voice in your ear of, hey, sometimes it looks shiny, sometimes it looks pretty, sometimes it looks like you're the coolest kid in school, but just research what you're getting into. Okay, it was good to talk to you. I will be back with another episode whenever I feel like I should be back with another episode, and I wish you all the best, and that's my dog saying goodbye. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. Love you.